Welcome to Big Basket Now presents the RCB Podcast. If the 90s was about the rise of men's cricket in India, 2020s has been about women's cricket's stellar growth. BCCI made a historic policy change that resulted in equal pay for men and women cricketers playing for India. Along with that, the WPL arrived and changed the way women's cricket was perceived globally. If there is one person who has been in the center of driving this growth with her exploits on and off the field, that would be my guest today, Smriti Mandhana, captain of the Royal Challengers Bangalore. Welcome to the RCB Podcast, Skip.
Thank you so much. And thank you for pronouncing my name correctly. Not many places they announce it's Smriti Mandhana.
Smriti Mandhana and not the Mandana.
Yes. That's why I got a smile on my face.
So nice to see you here and welcome back to your hometown of Bangalore. I think you need to get used to it. And I think you more or less are used to Bangalore now being your hometown.
Yeah, I think I've always loved Bangalore, even before being part of RCB, because we have our national NCA here, and we used to spend a lot of time here. Even as under 19 cricketer, we've had a lot of India camps, and I always loved the city, the weather, and yeah, I think it somehow gave me a really positive vibe. I never knew that, of course, I'll end up playing for RCB or I'll end up playing for this. But yeah, I think in last 1 year, I felt more like I stay in Bangalore than anywhere else.
A Bangalorean in all its sense. Let's go back to the beginning. Women's cricket, I think, suffered a lot of ignorance to a large extent, and then things started changing. How did you see this change happening?
Yeah, I think this change was driven by the 2017 World Cup for sure, because I've seen both sides of it. I think pre-2017 era and post-2017 era, and I think what really drove this change was fans. And I really say that with whole heart, is not to just say it, because the kind of interest they showed in that 2017 World Cup and kind of made us all a little bit of a household name for that particular period of time. That kind of made a lot of impact in terms of people knowing that we have a women's team, because earlier definitely we had so many greats who have played cricket, but not many people knew that women's play cricket. They only knew that okay, there's a men's team. So I used to get this question a lot when I used to say, oh, we're going for a tour. Oh, which tour? And there's I said, oh, we're touring maybe England, and they're like, acha, लड़कियों की लड़कियां भी खेलती है. So from there to actually people following us, appreciating us, criticizing us, definitely we have come a long way.
बस यही बोलना है, यही तुम्हारा ऐड?
Yeah, that's it.
सही है यार. Now delivering in 10 minutes.
Could you feel that more and more eyes are watching this game, especially the World Cup stage, and it's a big stage game? Could you feel that कुछ हो रहा है, change हो रहा है यहाँ पर?
2017 for sure, because firstly I was never a social media person. I was never on Instagram for 2016-17. My brother just randomly said कि चल तेरा Instagram account खोल देते, because I was doing my rehab for my knee, and I said ठीक है चलो खोल देते. And I think first two matches of 2017 World Cup, I kind of went with 2,000 followers. I checked the Instagram. All of a sudden, I had 400k followers, and I was like, "Ye kya ho gaya?" We are not used to that as women cricketers at that particular time of life. And of course, then that made me a little panicked, and I deleted it. And I was just like, "Okay, no, I'm not watching it." But we didn't know the kind of we didn't know the kind of what people are talking or something, because we were in England playing. But the kind of reception we had post, even we couldn't win the final, but on the Mumbai airport that particular day, there were 5,000, 6,000 people waiting for us to arrive. That I was like, wow, women's cricket is something now. So that's
cricket really has arrived. And then comes the equal pay parity for men's and women's cricket. Did you think that in your lifetime this is going to happen?
To be frank, not really, because as I said, growing up, we didn't know where to even go for academy in terms of girl playing cricket. So since from there, for us to actually play it professionally, full blown, without doing any other job. That was a big achievement back then when the contracts were announced for the very first time back in 2014-15. Then, of course, I think it's just been a rise of women's cricket in a way where it we never expected that. I never expected in my life that, okay, I love cricket, I'll play cricket forever, but I never thought that I'll earn anything out of cricket at like maybe 10 years back. But to now to have equal pay as men's in terms of match fees, I think firstly it should laud BCCI for that move. I think that's the first ever country who's done that, and that's India, and I'm really happy and proud to represent it. And yeah, I think for us, all of us, I think it's just a massive moment which comes with a lot of responsibility too, that we have to go out there and keep performing.
Right. Are your peers with whom you play cricket, are they also aware, and are you equally aware about a personal branding or personal brand building that happens when you play cricket on such a big stage?
In terms of
One, playing cricket, and then there is a personal brand that gets built that has a story of its own. While you perform well for your team, there are a lot of people eyeing just for you that has nothing to do with your team as well.
I don't think we do think that a lot, because cricket is a team sport, and when you cross that boundary line, I don't think anyone is different. Everyone is just playing for India or whichever team they are playing for. So, and I think as much as you think about it, you won't be able to do what you can do on the field. So definitely everyone has it in the back of the mind in terms of knowing what's happening, but I don't think we do think about it or try to do something about it, because at the end, whatever we do on cricket field is only going to reflect anywhere else. So I don't know. I don't think anyone does think, and even if anyone is, I don't think they should, because at the end, like for me, I play cricket this because I love playing cricket. I love batting. I don't think I can have anything else in my life that can give me as much as happiness as batting gives. So that's the only thing it's pretty simple. Is that all is too complicated for all of us.
Right. So central focus is cricket, and that's what you love.
Yeah,
So
with
keep
that-
it simple.
With that, whatever comes, we have to like take it as a professional, but the center focus has to be cricket.
Right.
बस यही बोलना है, यही तुम्हारा ऐड?
Yeah, that's it.
सही है यार. Now delivering in 10 minutes.
Who are a few women that you look up to who may not be cricketers, but maybe from other disciplines and other sports?
I think the first woman I looked up to was definitely my mom. She was pretty strong character in making us what we are today, single-handedly, along with my dad, of course. But I think we always looked up to my mom in terms of how strong she was in terms of our difficult times. That was the first person, first woman for sure. And she's been a very big influence. And I think in terms of other sports, there's Serena Williams, there's Alex Morgan, the way they have changed for tennis and football in US, and I think tennis all over the world. I think that's really inspirational in terms of just watching the way they do it. And I think Meg Lanning is just retired from international cricket, but she's also been a pretty big inspiration in terms of the way she went out to bat, because I remember I was a 17-year-old when I toured first, when I was we had a tour to Australia, and I saw her bat. I was like, wow, she was like 6-7 years into international cricket at that time, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like, that was for me, that was like an eye-opener in terms of how we have to play cricket as a women cricketer.
This truly is a very interesting era that you're playing cricket in. Comes the decision of WPL and teams are going to be made. What sort of impact did that create in your life and your peers, that you get to be part of different franchises and you're all going to be picked in different teams and you'll get to play against each other? What was it doing to you?
More than men's, I think we had a little taste of it because we have been part of different franchisee crickets in terms of women's Big Bash or a women's 100, and we've played against each other. Like, I think me and Herman for the longest of the time. We've done Big Bash and 100, and we've played against each other. There have been other Indians too who have been part of these tournaments. So we definitely had a little hang of it. But the amazing thing which I can see now is there are a lot of leaders which are coming up because they are going to their separate franchisee and bring leaders in their own team. That's one thing which has been really good to see in terms of, if you ask me, the post WPL. I see a lot of leaders in the team around now.
And do you see the WPL being a league apart compared to the rest of the leagues because you play around the year?
Yeah, definitely. I think for the first season, the standards was pretty high, pretty good. And I don't know. Definitely, we played women's Big Bash. I think when it was fourth or the fifth season, we haven't seen it from the first season. So to compare it to a women's Big Bash, this is their 10th season, and I think KSL and Women's 100 are like into their 6th. But for the way we started, I think has been amazing. I think just comparing it to other leagues, I think every league has its own advantages and disadvantages. I think that way WPL, the way it has started, I can just say it has started with a bang in terms of the overall numbers which have come up.
Right. Along with all the adulation and all the fanfare comes a lot of responsibility and sometimes a lot of failures as well that you need to take in your stride. But are players a lot more secure about their role and about their future in cricket for the way things have panned out to be?
Yeah, definitely. I think the way WPL have, not only I think Indian cricketers were still fine, but the kind of I think financial support it has got to domestic players. I think that was something I was really happy about, more than us going a certain number or something. But our domestic players getting financially stable because of WPL. Still a lot of definitely a lot of more players need to come up. But I think that I think financially being stable gets a lot of more. I think freedom into playing cricket, and that's a massive factor. I think we all can talk about how important it's playing cricket and passion and all of that. But also, if you're financially stable, then I think you can play cricket in a different way and you can express a little more. And that I can see a lot in domestic girls now. And the standard has definitely raised 2 notches higher post the WPL. So yeah, I think definitely it has got a lot of these kind of factors.
Right. We are at the leaders event and I am speaking to a leader, the captain of the Royal Challengers Bangalore. Smriti, how do you look at leadership? Is it a designated role or can somebody be a leader in spite of not them having the tag? Are some leaders born and do some leaders really lead from the front or from behind?
I think I do massively believe in leaders without tags. I think that's one thing which all my coaches used to always say, that the moment you represent any team, you shouldn't wait for them to it shouldn't be like you're leading or you're captain and only then you will. When you're batting out there, you're leader. I think when you're bowling out there, you're leader. You're doing a job for your team, you're a leader. And that for me is the biggest quality of a good leader, also to let the other person be a leader. And that is sometimes taken in wrong ways, that someone is maybe if a designated captain is there and other person is trying to chip in. But I think for me, that is the biggest thing, that if we have 11 leaders in our team, my job is easier.
Sure.
It's that is for me, I think. So I do believe massively leadership without any tags, because anything not only cricket, I think every person has a leader in them. They are leading maybe their family, they are leading anything, whatever they are doing. Every moment of life can be a moment of leadership for that particular person. So definitely I do believe massively in that as a kid, not only now, but as a kid always.
It can put you through the stress test at different points of time, different junctures, and you got to take the call.
बस यही बोलना है, यही तुम्हारा ऐड?
Yeah, that's it.
सही है यार. Now delivering in 10 minutes.
Smriti, what's your understanding of how Indian cricket and different cricketers are looked at from an outside-in approach when you interact with your peers from different teams, from different nations? What do they reckon Indian cricket is like and how it's bubbling down under?
Yeah, they are really excited. I think for the very the longest time, I used to play Big Bash or 100, and the only question they used to ask, when is the IPL coming? When is the IPL coming? Of course, this was 4-5 years back. and they all are really excited about, and they all also love to come to India, see the kind of passion the fans have. Sometimes they also feel a little weird, the kind of passion the fans have, and the kind of I think our fans are different, definitely, for
Sort of,
sure.
yeah.
And I think sitting at the RCB play, I am sure that we know what it is, and not only I think with RCB but with the Indian fans, definitely the fan culture is definitely different to what it is in Australia or England or any other country. So for them, they first take aback that what's happening. Oh, like they're just like, oh, you guys are stars. And like, no, it's not like that. It's just like they just love us. It's just not. So for them, definitely this is something. I don't know if they still enjoy it or not, but that's something which maybe they'll start getting used to it once they keep playing the WPL seasons, because you've seen the likes of AVD or Maxwell now or Faf now become like a Bangalore boys more than any other place they would have stayed. So I'm sure the girls also will get used to it now.
Where do you think there is a gap with respect to women's cricket, and how do you think one can go about actually filling that gap?
In terms of
Women's cricket growth and development overall.
I think, see, as I said, it's been a massive change in last 5 to 6 years. But the only change which I would love to see is that a fan, like, that comparison of men's cricket to women's cricket. I think personally, as a women cricketer I think that's a very unfair comparison. I am never a huge fan of comparing any sort of because I feel like men's cricket is a different sport, women's cricket is a different sport, treated separately. Come to the match to watch us play, and like not compare in a way that, oh, she bowls at this pace, oh, that she hits this far. Maybe a men, like, it's gonna be different. Come on, let's accept the fact it's always gonna be different. But come to watch us play in terms of skills, all of those things. I'm sure there's a lot of entertainment there. So that's one thing which I think can change massively, has changed a lot, I would say, in last 6 to 7 years, but there's still a lot of scope left for that. And that's the biggest change for me to see. And that's something which I would love to see.
Right. And the more and more one experiences live games, watching the sport, I think better understanding of the sport and women's sport can grow.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and of course, I think the more women watch it too. For the longest of the times, our stadium used to fill with 80% men. And I think it's changing now. Now I think in the last 2 years, and WPL had a massive role to play in that, because now I see a lot of women come to me and say, oh, you've been a big inspiration. It's not, I don't think in last 2 years, 2 years back, that used to happen a lot. I used to have a lot of boys who used to come, which is not bad. It's fine. But I always feel that girls don't watch a lot of sport, not only cricket. And now it's changing a lot. Now girls know what cricket is. And that, I think, a girl-to-girl empowerment is a different thing altogether. So I would love to see the stadiums filling in. And I'm not saying that it has to be a lot of girls. I'm not that kind of a girl. But even a 50-50% ratio would be great. And that's only going to inspire other girls to start playing cricket. And we get the number high.
On that note, Smriti, talk to us about the Leaders event. What did you think of the platform, the networking, everyone who's gathered around, your stage time as well? What was your experience?
It was a fun event. I think definitely it's been managed really well. Got to meet some of the greats and speak to them and hear them as well. So good insights of how they have gone about their businesses or their sport. So that was really good to hear. And yeah, I think my stage time also I think it was a different experience for me, because mostly I've been interacting with a young crowd more. But to interact with the crowd of like different different fields, I think that was pretty good. So yeah, really exciting, and I hope that this keeps happening over and over again.
Rooting for a great season as always, Smriti. All the very best, and thanks once again for being part of RCB Podcast.
Thank you so much.
Big Basket Now presents the RCB Podcast.